experiences in the program itself and how it helped prepare them for their career afterwards. So my name is David. My pronouns are he, him, and his. And I'm a film and television production student here at Humber and a digital content creator on the Life at Humber team. And today I'm joined by the wonderful folks from the Early Childhood Education program within the Faculty of Health and Wellness. So I'll give the floor over to our guests to introduce themselves and maybe tell us a little bit more about themselves. Angel, maybe we'll start with you.
Of course. So hello, everyone. My name is Angel Suarez. This fall will be my second year in the Early Childhood Education program. I'm an international student in Humber College. My pronouns are he, him, his. And yeah, I'm excited to share a little bit about my story and my journey with the Early Childhood Education program.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Angel. And Avneet?
Hello, everyone. My name is Avneet Singh. I'm a program graduate of the Humber College Early Childhood Education Diploma Program, and my pronouns are she and her, and I'm a registered early childhood educator currently working as a resource consultant at Humber College.
Amazing, thank you. And Bora?
Hello everyone. 안녕하세요. That's hello in Korean. My name is Bora. I'm a faculty member in the Early Childhood Education program at Humber College. I'm also a registered early childhood educator. My pronouns are she and her.
Awesome. Yeah. So thank you all for joining me today, and let's all get started. Oh, and thank you to the people joining us live. So yeah. So without further ado, let's just dive right into it. So Angel, maybe we'll start with you.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to choose the go into early childhood education?
Well, that's a really interesting question because as you know, David, I'm actually an environmental engineer. I'm from Mexico City and I studied environmental engineering there. But when I was working as a consultant, I realized that I really enjoy education a lot. So I used to do workshops with children, with college students, and I really enjoy this environmental education part. So when I wanted to go deeper into education, I started looking to different resources, and different schools to go and study something related to education. And unfortunately, I didn't get to study a program or a master's degree in education because they were asking me to have an educational background. So I thought that my dream was over, and I went to Humber College to study sustainable energy and building technology. And when I got there, I went to the Humber Arboretum. So it's a really great place. It's behind the North Campus. And I started there with the Learning by Leading program. And in the Learning by Leading program, I started working with a lot of ECEs. So they were doing a lot of like forest or outdoor education, which I was really interested. And they invited me to join some of the activities, and I was just really passionate about it. So I took the decision to switch my program and go from sustainable energy and building technology to early childhood education. Because when I was there with the kids, seeing them outside, and I was, teaching young kids, I was just happy, very happy. And I found out that even though I come from a very technical background, the thing that I enjoy is to educate children, to pass my knowledge to someone else, and in this case is little kids. So I'm really passionate about outdoor education, and yes, so that's why I chose this program, because everybody was so welcoming, and it was actually the thing that I really enjoy.
Awesome, that's so great to hear, and especially you coming from a very unique, you coming from a way that's very Humber, like that I think we'll get into later. Avneet, how about you?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, David. So in 2012, I was in high school getting ready to apply for different programs, and sitting there in front of my computer screen, it was a little bit of a nerve-wracking moment for myself. And I knew that I always had a passion to teach and co-learn alongside children. And I knew I always wanted wiggle room to be able to explore and unpack different career options. And early childhood education at Humber College just was the perfect program for myself. And this program has a broader scope, and there's so many different sorts of educational and career pathways that I engaged with and continue to do so postgraduate as well. So I was definitely inspired to continue going forth with this program. And what made it really unique and so diverse in their own way was the wide range of faculty members. And their journeys and stories inspired me to create my own story within this program. And I found it to be really unique as well, where I was able to merge some of my personal passions to my professional experiences. And to say that I'm a huge advocate for health and wellness, and it's an honor today that I'm able to bring my passion for health and wellness to the scope of working with children.
And well, we can't wait to hear more of your experiences. And Bora, how about you? What made you choose the career in education?
Also for me, the reason why I chose this career in the field of early child education is that I guess I chose this career while broadly thinking that I love children. That's it. And then once I actually started my ECE education, I realized how critical and important the early childhood is to children's development, their learning, their health, and well being. And that's why I've been still in this field and still learning and gaining experiences to better support all children, because their early childhood experiences will have a huge impact on their adolescence and adulthood.
Yeah, for sure. And it's and I think that's what's great, because the important. Sorry, what's the best way to phrase it? Like I think early childhood is such a kind of a critical time that I think that some of the unique aspects of Humber, I think, is really interesting of how we're educating them. So maybe let's dive into that a bit more. So what are some of your favorite parts of the program? I guess we'll start with you, Angel.
Oh yes. So my favorite parts of the program are that you can really shape the program into the interest. So, for example, let's say that I'm really interested in outdoor education. Actually, the program allows me to focus more on outdoor education, but I still learning about the other aspects, right? But we have that kind of elements. I have some classmates that are really interested in music, so they can focus their assignments or their activities to music. So the program has this great structure that allows you to really do what you're passionate about. Because I think we love kids, everyone that is here and everyone that is in the early childhood education program like kids a lot, but we can have a different approach when working with children. It could be outdoor, it could be music, it could be other philosophies. So that's the thing that I really like about the program, that allows me to do what I really love and what I'm really passionate about without doing other other stuff.
Yeah, it's great to hear. And Avneet?
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of my favorite parts of the program was the range of having smaller classes. It felt really nice because the faculty really spent time getting to know us as students, and I feel like I was really connected in that sort of environment. It was more so of a community than a classroom feeling to myself. And it was also really nice to start and finish a semester with my cohort. I had all of my classes with the same group of colleagues, and it was nice to build those rapport and relationships with my colleagues as well. And just even going forth, that I'm a visual learner, so I really enjoyed the hands-on experiences in my placements. And maybe Angel can definitely touch base upon his virtual experiences for placement. But ultimately, I felt like I learned what to do within the role of an ECE through in-person placements. And the theory went really nice with the practice in that sort of place. And I have to say, placement really built into the program brought forth greater connections and social networking opportunities for myself. So during placement, there was opportunities to also get hired as you're in placement. I almost felt like it was a long interview process. So my placement cooperating teacher actually had asked me to apply for a part-time position while I was in third semester of the program. And I can say that there are lots of opportunities for obtaining a job within the 2 years of the program.
Yeah, that's really great to hear, like, especially for for people like Angel, maybe coming into their senior years or senior terms of the program. Bora, maybe you could comment from the faculty or instructor side, like well, what do you feel are kind of like the big strengths of the program, or maybe comment on what Angel or Avneet have mentioned so far.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it's really good to hear from Angel and Avneet, their students' perspectives too, right? So I'll share from our faculty members' perspectives. Well, the Humber ECE program offers so many unique and innovative features and parts. So I may need more than 1 hour just to talk about everything, right? But I will just highlight some of them. As Avneet and Angel mentioned, the Humber ECE program really supports students in engaging and learning through hands-on experiences. Like we have the Carol Reed ECE lab that is filled with educational materials, like different kinds of blocks, different kinds of children's books, magnifying glasses, musical instruments, art supplies, and natural materials. So the students use them during the class to create, explore, question, wonder, and discover, like how children would. Right? Uh, and right beside the Carol Reed EC Lab, we also have the Carol Reed ECE Resource Center, where students can access resources, materials, and support when they create experiences for field placement and also for their assignment as well. And I know that the EC Resource Center can be really busy because the students, they definitely benefit from it. And we also have a great collaborative partnership with the Humber Child Development Centre, which is located at Humber College North Campus. So, for example, in the Carol Reed EC Lab, I have invited the children from the Humber Child Development Centre so that our EC students can learn with and from the children and the educators or the registered early child educators during the class, starting in their first semester. And I actually had Avneet in my class. So Avneet was one of the early child educators who came to my play class with the children and with other educators in our classroom, and that's how we started collaborating together as well. So during the class, the EC students, they observe how children engage in play experiences they created, and then they also engage in play with the children as well. And after the children left, we spent some time to reflect on their experiences, what went well, and what we might be able to do differently next time, and why. And we also visited the Humber Child Development Center as part of our class. So there is I guess it's more like an observation hallway where you can observe children in their natural childcare setting. And this was way more, I guess, a meaningful way to engage in learning compared to just reading the textbook or just sitting or listening to the class lecture, especially in the students' first semester when they don't
Yeah,
do the field placement.
yeah, for sure. It's not. I can't think of too many programs where you get almost it almost seems like a work experience in the very first term, which I guess is the benefit of having everything you mentioned. The childcare lab and the childcare center and the resource center all in one place. So that seems like a great way to benefit students right from the start. And I guess speaking of the start, what were some things that like Angel and Avneet that you kind of wish you knew, when you first went into the ECE program, and then Bora can maybe chime in with some tips that that she might have for first time students. Avneet, maybe we'll start with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think definitely getting there early and not being afraid to ask for help is definitely one of the biggest things that I should have sort of took an account for when I was going there on my first day. I think a lot of the times, speaking for myself, I get nervous to ask for help, but I have to say on my first day at Humber, it was such an amazing experience. And it was really well organized, as someone really did help me find my classes in a comfortable manner. And there's so many Humber volunteers that are more than happy to guide you and help you and find your classes. So it was really comforting to have those moments. And it was also really nice that Humber provided like free coffee and snacks. Who doesn't love free, right? But that's comforting as well, because, you know, first days again are very nerve-wracking, and, you know, it's often times that you forget to eat in the morning. So it was just nice to be welcomed with that sort of manner of having free coffee and snacks. But something that I would share a tip about is printing out my timetable rather than having it on my phone was really helpful for myself. Again, because I'm more sort of like a hands-on, like a visual person, I highlighted the locations of my classrooms in the same color. So if, for example, like the E-wing classes were all in like one color and the H-wing classes were all in a different color. And this made it easier again to like find my classes on my first day. And also another helpful tip to also know is that you have printing credits at Humber. So during my time, I believe we had $25 per semester of printing credits, and it was like 10 cents a paper. So that was really helpful to know that I had you know, printing credits for like assignments and papers to hand in, and not more so have like a printer at home that I needed to buy. So it was really nice to have that sort of extra advantage. And again, first days, going back to that piece where it is overwhelming, we're so lucky as a college to have this great land behind our college that we're invited to walk with as a community. And I encourage you all to walk with the land if you choose to come to Humber for this program. It did really bring down my feelings of nervousness, and it was just so beautiful to walk with all the natural elements of the land. And again, like I spent most of my time during my breaks and spare periods outdoors on the land. It really did bring that sense of mindfulness and that sense of calmness, especially on those first few weeks of feeling nervous, for sure.
Yeah, no, those are some great tips. Angel, how about you? Especially when you mentioned your experience coming from a more technical or you know, science field. What was it like coming into your first day of ECE?
So I actually have a lot of tips, and I'm going back a little bit. So because I was in another program before, so I spent 1 year in college. So actually I got to experience the college life, and as Avneet was saying, now in the ECE program I experienced it online. So I have both of the experience, and those are totally different, right? Both were very good, but yeah, those were different. So first, because I switched my programs and I needed to apply first the ECE program, I recommend if you want to go to Humber to study ECE, apply as early as possible, because the spots are limited. So if you can apply, you know, just go through it and then read the website, maybe have an appointment with the coordinators, and if you're decided, just apply. You won't regret it. I'm sure of that. And yes, as Avneet was saying, ask for help. If you have any questions, just send an email to the faculty. They will be very happy to help you always. And yeah, not once that you are, you know, if you happen to start the ECE program in an online setting, that requires a lot of more like time management. We need to manage our time better, and we need to, you know, organize better. So do your timetable earlier. You know, that's going to help you a lot. Also keep track of your assignments, of all your, you know, classes. That would be really, really helpful. And all right, also one thing that I would have liked to know the first day of class as an international student, I would say I would have liked to know more about the field placement requirements. So those may seem a little bit difficult, especially if you're not from Canada. Don't panic. You can always send an email people are really willing to help you. So go with your physician. You know, if you don't have a physician here in Canada, you can go to the Humber Wellness Center, and
The
they
SWAC Center, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
the SWAC, yes. So you can go there and you can have all your shots. You know, they are happy to help you with everything. So you know, if you are clear for your placement soon, that's better, because the sooner the better. If not, you know, you can have delays on your program. So that's the advice that I have for you. And you know, if you come from another uh, uh, field, you know, a technical field like I, or you are a male, and you know, sometimes in some cultures, or you know,
Mhm.
there's not a lot of male representation in the ECE field, but don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. It's a really cool place to be. And if you're really passionate about teaching young children and you know, kind of pass this knowledge to the next generation, just do it. Don't be afraid.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. And you know, don't be afraid is something that I think could be applied to everyone. You know, regardless of what program you're in. You know, don't be afraid to like I mean said earlier. You know, just to even just to ask questions or to get involved. You know, or any tips you'd like to add?
Sure. Yeah. So first of all, thank you so much for sharing your tips, Evneet and Angel. It's good for me to understand, right, what tips that you can pass on to the new students. But as Evneet mentioned, I mean, Evneet, you mentioned that you were nervous as a new student on the first day of class. From my perspective, guess what? I actually tend to get nervous as well on the first day of class because I meet new people, I meet new students too, right? So I can't imagine how some students, how nervous the new students are on the first day of class, and even the first week of class too. But as Angela and Evan mentioned, our faculty members, the program coordinators, the associate dean, the staff, and even the second, third, fourth semester students are here to help. So once the new students are enrolled in our EC program, I want them to know that they're part of this caring, supportive learning community. You're part of this great learning community. So and also the first day of class and even the first week of this semester, there's a lot to navigate. There are lots of things to figure out. Even again, as you mentioned from the class, where do I take my class? What should I click to join my class, online class? How should I contact my professors and everything, right? So I do want my new students to know that it is more than okay to ask questions and share their thoughts too about what they're wondering, what they're thinking, and anything that puzzles them. Because when the students ask me questions, I get a better understanding of what they're actually thinking and how I can better support them. So, as Angel and Evan emphasized, please do reach out to other classmates, your professors, program coordinators, and staff because we are all part of this great, caring, supportive learning community.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, saying that I heard before, that's usually probably true. Is that if you have a question, someone else probably has the exact same question. So you're doing them a favor as well. That's for sure. Um, and yeah. So speaking of the you know the community you're joining, the program itself has very unique you know unique curriculum, so to speak. Like, you know, if you go to the website, to talk about incorporating aspects of like global citizenship, social justice, and nature connections. Um, uh, maybe Bora, if you talk about a little bit about that, and then you know I'd like to hear from Angel and Avneet about how, because when I first think of childhood education as someone not in the field, you know, those aren't necessarily the things that I immediately, you know, think would be part of the curriculum. So I'm very interested to know your experiences about about how you felt learning through those curriculums. So for
Yeah, thank you. So that's a really great question. And I guess we want our ECE students to be able to understand the wider world that they're part of, not just within Humber College or within just their community, and how their actions and even inactions affect children, their families, and other community members in their wider world. So I did mention how our EC students engage in learning in the Carol Reed EC Lab earlier, and I guess I do have some photos that I want to share at
Mhm.
this moment. If can share them, David. Yeah. So just to see how our students are learning. So in this photo, you can see our students engaging in a storytelling experience by using the puppets that they made during the class. So this is what our Carol Reed EC Lab looks like. And students engage in lots of collaborative learning during the class. Again, by the using the materials that we have. And also we do, again, as I mentioned earlier, we do invite children to our Carol Reed EC Lab. And in the next photo that you're going to see, we actually moved all the tables and chairs so that we can have more, I guess, safer and inclusive environment, play environments for young children. And this is an example of how we engaged in the learning all together with the children, also with the early child educators during the class. So this is another picture from the Carol Reed ECE lab. However, the Humber EC students' learning is not just limited to these four walls that you see in the photo. At Humber, the EC students' learning extends beyond these four walls that you see in this photo, which is very unique and very critical. ECE students have access to the natural outdoor play environment at the Humber Child Development Centre, which is not too far from this Carol Reed EC Lab, as well as the Humber Arboretum, uh, the place that Angela and Avneet already mentioned. The Humber Arboretum is located right behind the Humber College. So in this photo, you see that I was taking, we were all guys on a nature walk at the Humber Arboretum, and we are looking at the pond to see what's in the pond that day. And I think we saw some turtles, and we went down to the Humber River, and we saw more ducks and other plants, and we also saw the medicine garden at the Humber Arboretum. So instead of just sitting in the class all the time, some EC classes are actually held outside so that the EC students can directly connect with the natural world and learn why nature is important through those hands-on experiences and how they can facilitate and promote outdoor learning in natural environments for children and their families. And these hands on experiences outside in natural environments help our students recognize their connections and relationships with the natural world, which can lead to taking actions that contribute to environmental sustainability as a global citizen. And also to further promote diversity and inclusion in our program incorporates real life issues, problems, and concerns within communities, both locally but also globally, into our curriculum just to support our EC students in addressing those social injustices in children's lives, their families' lives, their lives, as well as the educators' practices. So it would be also good to hear from Angela and Ebony to see how their experiences have been with some of the pieces that I shared as well.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Angel, maybe we'll start with you. Yeah, what was your experience with all of the unique aspects that Bora mentioned?
Yes, it's really good that Bora mentioned sustainability because as I was mentioned before, I was working in the environmental slash sustainability field. So when I was doing my research in sustainability, I came up with this result that one of the best solutions for sustainability is actually education. So if we educate our next generation, we can have a sustainable development, right? When I wanted to join the program, I'm gonna share with you this funny story. So I was still in the other program, the technical program there at Humber College, and I have classes there really close to the that classroom that Bora was showing. So I remember going to my class, and then everybody was having a lot of fun, working with the puppets, and they just moved the tables around, and I was so interested in that. So every time I went to class, I just, stared there, and I was like, I want to be there so bad. Okay, let's go to class. And then I was like, for a whole year like that, and then at the end, I was like, no. So I want to be there because my body's like asking me to go there. So as I was collaborating with the Humber Arboretum and I was already getting some experience with the ECEs, I asked the coordinator of the Arboretum, Jimmy Vincent. I said, like, okay, I'm interested in being an early childhood education. So because early childhood education, the title of the program doesn't have anything about sustainability or environment or even global citizenship, I was a little bit skeptical, right? Because in my mind, I thought that it was only about classrooms, right? Only being a teacher in front of a classroom. But he was like, okay, so let's do this. You go and talk to the first year coordinator, Christine Fenning, and you're gonna have a good talk with her, and then she's gonna give you advice. So I did that, and I went with her, and I was like, okay, Christine, I want to know if this program is the best program for me. So this is my background, this is my passion, and I want to know if that's good for me. And she was really happy to give me advice, and she told me yes. Early childhood education has a variety of fields that you can work in. So you can work on forest schools, if you want nature connections, Montessori schools, Waldorf schools, etc. But you can also do other stuff like music. You can become, like a music early childhood educator, or you can, specialize in gender equality, social justice also, and work in other fields. So there is where my mind just opened, and I was like, yes. So early childhood education is more than just being in four walls, teaching children. And then Christine just connected me to Luis. Luis, a great faculty member that she developed the forest and nature program. Actually, I think Avneet participated there, right? And yeah, so that's my experience with the early childhood education program and those fields. I'm more into nature connections, but I also really passionate about gender equality, and all and that topic, because I think it's really important. At the end, everything connects with sustainability. So yeah, that's my experience.
Awesome, good to hear. It was so positive. Avneet, how about yours?
I'll definitely jump from where Angel had started the conversation about the Forest and Nature program. So yes, I was one of the first students in supporting to pilot the Forest Nature program that we have here at the Humber Child Development Centre. And I definitely had opportunities to create and engage in sections of like the parent handbook and the Forest Nature handbook, and kind of creating those sorts of pieces. And it was a lot of fun, I have to say. But when I first started the program, being completely honest, I was not a big outdoors person. But over time, engaging with the program and having my placement experiences, I had many of my first inner child experiences as an adult. I climbed my first tree, and I held a snail, and I've seen many animals that I've encountered through media contents live in person. And I got to experience observing a possum and a coyote and feeding chickadees on my bare hands in the winter. And I feel honored walking with the Indigenous lands and appreciating our living shared space with our plants, animals, and homes to animals within the Arboretum. So I've had lots of amazing experiences in that sorts of things in my placements and just kind of within the program. And I've also had experiences learning from Indigenous leaders firsthand, where we got to drink sumac tea and peppermint tea with a group of preschool children during the wintertime, outdoors, right on our land, walking with, engaging with all of the natural elements around us. And it's been an amazing program. I've learned so much as a professional, and now bringing it forth into those aspects in my personal life as well. And thank you, Bora, for sharing all those beautiful pictures in the beginning. I had lots of fun coming to your class with all my children as well after I graduated from the program and was a preschool educator. So it was nice to see all those memories, and hope to see that again very soon in the future.
Yes. And sorry, David, can I add something there?
Yeah, sure, by all means.
So I think that's also that's a really valuable part of the early childhood education program, but we also have this Indigenous perspective in it.
Mhm.
So for us in Humber College, it's really important to acknowledge Indigenous peoples, right? So we have this Indigenous perspective, and a lot of we work really closely to the Aboriginal Resource Center. So I think that's also really, really valuable for Humber and for the future students or the current students that are studying with us.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess that could lead into like a question I have for Bora. Is like, how do you kind of continually develop and keep the program, current to kind of keep incorporating all of these unique elements?
Thank you. That's a big question, isn't it? Like, how do we keep everything current and meaningful right now? So, the field of early child education, ECE, is continuously evolving. It changes every day. So, it is really important for us, our program, to keep our program current, relevant, and even meaningful to all of our students. And I actually like using a metaphor. So if our EC students are like seeds, like, I love nature, right? We talk about nature. So if they're like seeds for flowers, plants, trees, our Humber EC program recognizes that each seed is different and unique and can have different kinds of fruit, flowers, or trees. And our our Humber EC program is here to support those seeds in growing well by supporting, or I guess by providing access to the soil, water, and the sand that is appropriate for each seed. And we want our students to have those strong roots and foundations while they grow. But if you think about using maybe contaminated soil or water, or if there's only one type of soil, or if there's not enough sunlight for some plants, you know that your plants are not going to grow well, or even they're not going to stay healthy for a long time. So, to help our students access healthy soil, water, and sun, and even the air for the planting. And I guess, in other words, to ensure that our program is up to date, relevant, and meaningful to all our students, our program first learns from the students who our students are and what their strengths are and what kinds of unique features or aspects that they can bring from their own culture, from their own experiences. So like, you have to know what kind of seeds you have first, right, before start gardening. And then to ensure that our program meets the local industry standards and also reflects the current literature, research studies, and the needs in our community, again, locally and globally. Our program engages in ongoing pedagogical discussions among our faculty members, the
Mhm.
program coordinators, the associate dean, but also with others as well, including the our program advisory committees, also the Indigenous Education and Engagement at Humber. That's, I guess, new name that they have, Indigenous Education Engagement at Humber, to
Mhm.
see if there are any gaps between our curriculum and also the current field or the needs in our community, and also to examine the curriculum, the resources that we provide, if just to make sure that they include multiple worldviews and they're explored and discussed. Uh, and also, I guess also, sorry, our faculty members also attend conferences and workshops still, and they also present at conferences and workshops. And this ongoing professional development that they engage in supports the discussions that we have, right? And we tell our students too, we don't stop learning. We still learn and we still engage in lifelong learning.
Mhm.
And that's, I guess, another example of this, that we still conduct research studies to learn more about our students, about children, their families, and community members. Uh, Also, we collaborate with the community, which is really important for us. We collaborate with the community, including the Humber Child Development Centre and other field placement sites, and also Indigenous education and engagement at Humber, and elders, and also citywide training, which is a professional learning network in the city of Toronto. And I guess Avneet and I actually presented a workshop with two other early child educators from the Humber Child Development Centre through citywide training. And you can see again, we're part of this great
Mhm.
caring and supportive learning community that we work together, we collaborate together. And all of these current interactions the collaboration, research, and scholarly activities that we engage in become great sources to update our curriculum, the resources that we provide to our students on a regular basis. And these are, again, these are the sources for healthy soil, water, sun, and the air for our students. And I guess one example that I want to share is that, as Angel and Avneet already mentioned, uh, we to meet the needs in our community, we actually have a new course that will be delivered in fall 2021 this year. And this new course is called Two-Eyed Land-Based Play and Co-Learning course, where our students will learn with and from the land using indigenous and non-indigenous perspectives. So our ECE students, indigenous and non-indigenous faculty, elders, ECE, Indigenous Curriculum Specialists, knowledge holders, and other community members will engage in learning process all together. And of course, we'll be at the Humber Arboretum to build reciprocal and respectful relationships with the land, and also to engage in hands-on experiences on the land. So just to sum up, I guess by understanding the connections between humans, ourselves, and non-human beings, our EC students will learn how they're going to take on the responsibility that they have as a global citizen to nurture sustainable and inclusive environments for all children and their families. So.
Amazing. Yeah, it's great to hear all the things that's done in the background to make sure the program is really preparing students for to be, for lack of a better term, up to date with the latest things that is important in ECE. And I put a link on the screen just for people who want to learn more about how Humber is incorporating the two-eyed seeing learning into the program. But yeah, I guess Avneet, but having finished the program and are working now, but how would you say to continue the analogy, but use the phrase, how would you say is the fruits of that labor, so to speak, coming out of the program, and just in general, how would you feel when entering the workforce? And what does Angel kind of have to look forward to, so to speak?
Definitely felt empowered and strong coming out of the program. I felt confident coming out of the program. And I use those words really intentionally because a lot of the times I did, again, what Angel is doing now, seeking guidance from, the faculty and our program coordinator to kind of see where my next step would be. I definitely did further my education, and I did stick around Humber. I went forth with Inclusive Practice Resource Program as well, also formerly known as the, I think it was Early Childhood Education Special Needs Program. And a lot of the things that I've learned, a lot of the content, the theories, the practice within the placements really brought me forth to the professional that I am today. And it was really great to see how the faculty really spent a lot of time just allowing us to figure out our own journey. Although we have all this wonderful theory and all this wonderful content to learn within the 2 years, I think it was really nice that we were able to have this process and this journey to also learn who we wanted to be as a professional, right? Who we wanted to be within our own seeds and what sorts of flower plants did we want to grow out of it, right? Through the metaphor that Bora was sharing. I think it's important, right? Because my colleagues that were sitting next to me or in front of me or behind me in class, we were all going to have a different spin in who we wanted to be in this field. Excuse me. And who we wanted to be in this field. And it definitely those colleagues that you maybe went to school with and now are in different journeys and are, they spruced and grew in their own way. And I definitely think this program, again, like I've mentioned earlier, it is such a broad scope and you can really take it where you'd like to through your own passions. And I really see now so many years later, I think 5 or 6 years later after I've graduated from the program, I've really wanted to engage with my personal experiences and my personal passions, which again is health and wellness. So how was I able to incorporate those pieces with our youngest learners and children, and incorporating children's health and wellness right into my curriculum and right into my programming with children. And again, that's, collaborating with the wider community. I was able to reach out to the culinary program and see, hey, would you like to come down and maybe cook something that you think that might be nourishing for children? Or how can we incorporate more fruits and vegetables in our own gardens, in our natural playgrounds for children to then learn, the fruits for labor, like that sort of piece, kind of being firsthand about all of those learning experiences. So again, I think the process and the journey that you encounter within the program really allows you to kind of flourish into your own being. And I think that's really important. And I look forward to hearing what Angel has to say and what he might want to flourish into in the next year or so.
Yeah, Angel, do you have any comments on that, or maybe you guys talk about what you're currently doing? Like I know you talk a lot about the ECE aspect of the art, but you do a lot more with the Arboretum as well, right?
Yes. So when as I was telling you, I was collaborating with the Humber Arboretum first as an ambassador, and then I became a co-coordinator. So I was a co-coordinator for the Learning by Leading program for 1 year. So I was helping the educators there to develop a program for the college students. And then after that was finished, I got hired. So right now I'm the CAM, Education and Stewardship Assistant there. So what I do as an ECE, or the things that I've been learning in the ECE program, is creating these camp activities. Right now that everything is virtual, I'm really gathering those.
Oh, is it frozen for you all as well?
It seems like
Yeah,
it.
he's.
Seems like it, yes.
Yeah. First, I wasn't sure if it was me or.
Yeah,
I thought the same.
All right. Hopefully he's still with us and can return to us. And I guess we can pick up when he does return, hopefully. But maybe now would be a good time to go to some questions that we received. And so I had one question asking specifically about, and it kind of relates to the question in chat right now that Zoe had about what opportunities are there after the ECE program. Oh, I guess we lost. I think it was his camera, but hopefully he'll be back. But yeah, so Zoe is asking what opportunities are there after someone completes the ECE program, or where can they work at or maybe they mean as an ECE. And someone on Instagram, I believe it was Naomi, had a question of like, do I have to do uni to be a kindergarten teacher? So Avneet, you spoke a little bit about the different careers you saw that you and your classmates take. What were some examples of those?
Sorry, was that to me?
Yeah. I mean, like your class.
Perfect. Thank you, David. Sorry, I didn't catch the name, but thank you for clarifying. I wanted to say that definitely, I think that early childhood education, you can definitely leave it at the diploma program, work as an early childhood educator within childcare centers, early on centers. You can do it within, welcome back, Angel.
Angel.
Definitely do it within kindergarten classrooms as well. And it's really where you would like to see yourself. You can also become like a cook out of it. And I think there's just so many different opportunities. You can write your own book, and there's so much music creativity, and you can again get into different camp communities like Angel is doing right now after the program. But if you see yourself wanting to further your education, Humber definitely does provide those opportunities as well, where I was able to take a 1-year course at Humber College, which was related to early childhood education, and it brought me into the role that I am in today as a resource consultant. And just kind of referring back to the question that Naomi had, if you like to work as a kindergarten teacher, definitely a university degree, and then going forth with the college for teachers is a great addition as well. But if you are wanting to be an early childhood educator within the classroom, I definitely believe that you only need your 2-year diploma at like if you would like to do it at Humber, it'd be great, the 2-year diploma program of early childhood education.
Yeah. Bora, did you have any comments on that?
Oh yeah, I guess as Ebony mentioned, there's so many pathways. So while students are at Humber ECE program, they explore those pathways to see what their true passion is, right? So basically, I guess as a registered early child educator, so after you gain your ECE diploma, you are eligible to register with the College of ECE, so that you can become a registered early child educator who can directly work with young children, typically between the age 0 to 12. So it's quite, wide, right? 0 to 12. So you may become an infant teacher, toddler, preschooler, or after school or school age educator. And you can work in variety of settings, including a licensed childcare, home childcare, early learning programs like early on here in Ontario, before or after school programs, and also as Ebony mentioned, in kindergarten classroom as well. But in the kindergarten classrooms, you're gonna work as an ECE, not as a kindergarten teacher, because you do need to go to the teachers college to become a kindergarten teacher. But also, as after gaining more experiences, some might be interested in becoming a supervisor or taking on a director role as well in a childcare setting. But also, not all the registered early child educators directly work with children either. They may become a parent, or I guess family support worker, or parent educator. There might be some different titles, but they may work to support parents and families in supporting their own child by providing some training or education as well.
Awesome. Yeah. Welcome back again, Angel. We were just answering some questions about like what can you do after an ECE, and I think maybe that can tie in back when we can let you finish of where you were speaking about the ARB as a camp educator and stewardship assistant.
Yes, and sorry about that. That happens when you're online, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I'm a camp and education assistant. So I create these camp programs, and also something that is really neat about it is that I'm also creating this global citizenship course with the Humber Arboretum. So I'm applying all the knowledge that I'm learning from children to college students. So when you think about it, the way we teach children, we can also teach other. We can also create other types of programs. So even though I'm not creating a program for kids, from birth to 12 years, I can apply the same things for other things that I'm doing. So let's say that later you're enrolled in another type of job, or you're in another type of setting, you can apply those knowledge everywhere. So I think that's really, really neat. And yes, right now I'm working as a camp counselor. And as Bora was saying, this is kind of a step. Also, Avneet was saying this. This is like kind of a step to me. I'm planning to finish my diploma, but then I want to go to university. And who knows? Maybe it could be disability, right? It could be maybe environmental education. It could be other things. So that's a great thing that Humber College has to offer. And if you go to the website, you can actually find the pathways that Humber has, and you can even go abroad. So that's really interesting.
Yeah. That definitely lots to explore in the program for sure. So, and I guess to kind of tie things off, if folks have any questions about the program or some of your experiences, where can they learn more and reach out? Or say they have questions about the program, or maybe they have questions for you. Where can they reach out to?
Yep. So if you have any further questions about the EC program at Humber College, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm a faculty member in the EC program. So here's my email, bora.kim. It's a short name, right? At humber.ca. But you can also reach out to Lucy, who is the program support officer in the EC program, to ask some program-specific questions as well. So we're always welcoming lots of inquiries and questions.
Awesome. Yeah. And Angel, how about you? If someone wants to reach out to you, learn more about your experiences?
Yes, of course. You can contact me at my email, angel.asc@outlook.com, or you can send me a message on Instagram at angel.esq. And also, I really recommend all the students, if you can go to the Humber Arboretum website and just check it out. We have really cool experiences for the students. We have co-curricular record experiences. We have the Learning by Leading program. And, we have a lot of ECE students working there. And then, yeah, you can join the team.
Awesome. And Avneet?
Yeah, you can definitely also contact me at avneet.humber.ca if you have any questions about my experiences or, furthering education after the ECE diploma program and those sorts of aspects. You're more than welcome to contact me at this email.
All right. Awesome. So I guess that will wrap things up. Thank you, all of you, for sharing your experiences with everyone, and thanks to all the viewers that are tuning in. And if you're watching the recording and you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And if there's a program you would like to hear more student experiences about, let us know as well. So yeah. So without if there's nothing else anyone would like to add, then we'll say farewell and see you all next time. Bye, everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.